it's Kathy Servatka with VoiceOver Web Design, and in this video you're going to learn how to add, edit, and delete a blog post in your WordPress website. What I have here right now is just a demo that I set up. So it's actually, this is a free theme that's out there. It's actually pretty nice looking for a free theme, isn't it? And we can talk about themes another time, but I just wanted to have something in place for you to see what I'm doing. So I threw in just a little content, created an About Me page, just nothing. It's actually fake text in there, lorem ipsum, which is fake text, and set up a blog page. Now, what I have in the blog page is what comes with WordPress. It comes with a sample post, and it says hello world, and I think I actually might have deleted some of it. But this is basically what you get when you first start WordPress. Now, if you had somebody create a website for you and you want to do your own editing of your blog posts, which makes sense, you want to write your own posts, you want to post them whenever you can. Maybe you just feel like doing it at midnight, which is actually about the time I'm making this video. If you're a night owl like me, or you just don't want to have to pay for it. And that's completely understandable. So what I'm going to do is show you how to add, edit, and delete your own blog posts. So this is called the front end of the website. Okay, because we can see it's the part that everybody sees. What we need to do is go into what's called the back end, or you probably have heard it referred to as the WordPress admin area, which is technically where we need to go. So on all WordPress websites, and this doesn't matter who you are, I'm going to ignore that for now, not who you are, but what your website, as long as it's a WordPress website. And mine here, I've just taken one of my websites and added on this demo WordPress. But what you would do is go to your web URL, type a slash, right, / WP-ADMIN, WP-admin, and that's true for every WordPress website, and then just hit enter. And it's going to take you to the login page. And if you don't have your own login information and you had this done by somebody else, you definitely want to have this information on hand. Otherwise, you can never edit your own website. And maybe you don't want to, but for blog posts, I think most people want to do their own stuff. So I created a basic username here for this. And I already copied and pasted my password, which of course I never check Remember Me, and I never let anyone know my passwords. And I'm a fanatic about really difficult passwords. You see how many characters are there? Strongly advise really hard passwords that you can't remember. Again, probably good for another video another time. And so here we are. Excuse me, this is where you'll land. When you get in there, it's called the dashboard. Quite honestly, you probably don't care about any of the stuff on this page. WordPress news, you don't need to know any of this stuff. I never do anything on the dashboard. But you do want to familiarize yourself a little bit with the menu on the left, because this is where all the magic happens, at least where you go to get to all the magic. But the thing we care about right now is where it says posts. And notice when you mouse over the menu item, you get a little pop-up menu. And if you didn't wait and you just went and clicked, it would actually open up to the first item, which is all posts, and the rest of the menu would show up underneath. So whether you mouse over and select the item or just click on posts and go from there, it's the same thing. But what we did was I clicked on posts and we landed on the all posts page. And here's my sample post. Remember that just came with WordPress. We're ultimately going to delete that. We could probably use this and just edit it, but let's go ahead, just for the sake of doing stuff, go ahead and send it to the trash, because we don't want to see something called sample post in there. And so I'm going to go ahead. Notice there's no option showing until you mouse over the name of the article, and then you see you get this edit, quick edit, trash, and view. and we're just going to select trash and actually send it to the trash. So now we have no posts, but we're going to add one. So we're going to go up where it says posts in the heading here and click on add new. And that's going to open up our post writing area. Now, a couple things. It looks a little bit like WordPress. And if you're Microsoft Word. And if you are familiar with Microsoft Word, you understand that the toolbar here is very similar. We have things like bold, italic, bullet list, numbered list, aligning left, center, and right. A couple other things that you may not be familiar with, like adding a link. We talk about that later. But just things like that. Now, if you open it up and you don't see all of this, you only see one row, there's this thing. It's actually referred to as the kitchen sink, but it says toolbar toggle. And if you click on that, you may open up and only see this. So if that's the case, you want to go ahead and click on that toggle and open up the rest of the toolbar. We're really ready to go. All you have to do is just click into the editing window. When we can put a title, our title is going to go up there and our content's going to go down here. So I'm going to add something real, but for now, just so you can see, I can just click in that window and start typing. And if I hit enter, I start a new paragraph. And I can click the actual headline of my article up here. And it's almost that simple. I mean, I could just go ahead and publish that by clicking this blue publish button and it would be live. So you may not want to do that now while you've got just a bunch of junk in here, but that's really the basic of what you need to do. Now, you can just jump right in here and do your writing in here. So I'm just sitting down to write my blog and I'm going to, this is my blog and I'm writing off the top of my head. And you can just go ahead and do your writing just in here. And you don't have to publish it to save it. If you decide you're going to write in here and you want to save it, but you don't want to make it live yet, you would click on the Save Draft button. And by clicking Save Draft, you've saved a draft. It's pretty intuitive. Not really sure why that just jumped down like that. That's the funny thing about, well, pretty much anything on software, anything on your computer, there's always something that makes you go, I wonder why it did that. Don't feel bad when these things happen. A lot of times it's just, crazy software. Mine happens to be computer glitches, but don't worry, if it threw an extra line in there, just click in front of the sentence and hit backspace and off I go. So if you want to type in here, like I said, go for it. By the way, notice the word count down here at the bottom of the window entry area. So hopefully you're going to have somewhere between probably 700 to, I don't know, some people say longer blogs are better. I would go 700 to 1,300 words, which sounds like a lot. But once you start chatting, once you start writing, it goes pretty quickly. But that doesn't have to be every blog. Some blogs you can just you just want to put something out there. You found a nice meme, an image with a inspirational quote on there. That can be a blog post. Or just typing in a quote from somebody, from Abraham Lincoln or something. That's a blog post too. But you don't want that to be all that you do. It can certainly be some of what you do, but you want to put some meat out there too. So you want to write some actual articles. And that's really what I'm showing you how to do today. Now, I went ahead, I'm going to flip over to my Microsoft Word, and I had typed this up. This is actually a blog article that I do have live on my website. But I wrote it initially in Microsoft Word, and it's formatted in Microsoft Word. maybe if you're writing it, you wouldn't bother to do any of this formatting. And what I want to show you with this formatting is that if you copy and paste from Word, you certainly can do that if you're more comfortable in this software program. And remember, I was saying it's got a lot of the similar items in the toolbar: bold, italic. You can change size up, font size up here, but the bullet list, the number list, the alignment. It's all got all that kind of stuff, but it's got some extra things. And I don't know, maybe you're more comfortable in this software. But not all of the things that you can do in here are going to translate into what you're ultimately going to be making is HTML. I know, don't be afraid that I said that. The code, you're not going to be dealing with code, but it's going to be creating the code for you. And HTML code is very different from Microsoft Word code. Sometimes copying and pasting directly without doing anything works fine. And we're going to go ahead and give that a try right now. So I'm going to just click anywhere in my document, and here's some keyboard shortcut tips for you. Control A on the PC or Command A on the Mac will select everything. So A is for all. The shortcodes, the keyboard shortcuts that I give you at any time are true for all software and on both Mac and PC. It's just that it's either Command or on the Mac or Control on the PC. So on the PC, which is what I am on, it's Control A to select all. If you can't remember that, you can just go to, click and highlight if you want. Go ahead and just, scroll down like that. Highlight the whole thing and then hit the copy tool. Or again, I use a keyboard shortcut for that, Control C. Notice when I mouse over copy, I get what's called a tooltip, and it gives me in the parentheses the keyboard shortcut on the PC, which is Control C. So I could either use the tools up here, or since I've selected everything now, I can say Control C to copy it to the clipboard. And I'm going to flip back over to, went too far there. I'm going to keep mixing these up. My WordPress. And I'm going to highlight the junk that was there. Go ahead and delete that so you have a clean start. And I want to paste that code. Ooh, another keyboard shortcut is Control V or Command V. Control V or Command V. Now, notice it came in with some formatting because it had formatting from Microsoft Word. I don't know how this is ultimately going to look on my web page. It may be okay, it may not. If you do go and publish this or save to draft and then click preview to look at it, which we're going to do in a second, and it looks crazy, the formatting's all off, then what you'll want to do, I'm going to undo that. What you'll want to do is find this little T on the clipboard, and it says paste as text. When I turn that on, just said okay there, and now when I paste it, everything just comes in as plain text. So it's ready for you to do some formatting, but now you got to format everything, and sometimes the paragraphs will all run together, and you just have to break them apart. And by breaking them apart, I mean just re-putting them in there. I'm just bagging up and hitting return. But this actually looked like it held the formatting pretty well. We're going to go ahead and just work with this. So I'm going to click in front of the first sentence and bring it up to the top there. It looks like there's another line, but there isn't. And this is going to be one of the headings. It's going to be like, this is the title of the article, and then this would be sort of the main headline. And it's a little confusing. This would be, think of the outlines we used to do in high school for our term papers. You had heading level 1, heading level 2, kind of going down in the hierarchy. This is heading level 1. We would set this at heading level 2. How do we do that? Look where it says paragraph there. We're going to click on that down arrow. Look, heading 1, heading 2, and it kind of gives you an idea of what's going to happen if you use it. This is always going to be heading 1, so you never want to use this because we only want one heading level 1 per article, and that has to do with search engine optimization. Google only likes one heading level 1 per page. So I'm going to select heading level 2 for that. And it does some formatting and enlarges it and bolds it, that kind of thing. Now this is a paragraph. This will just stay as a regular paragraph. Notice when I click in there, it's all of this is paragraph now. I want Meerkat, first Meerkat, to be a 3rd level heading. Now I'm going to have to set it apart. So it's got to be on its own separate line because the entire line is going to take on this formatting, and I'm going to make that a heading level 3. And then this area here is going to be just a paragraph, and then same thing here where it says then Periscope. I'm going to highlight that and make that also a heading level 3. And then this is a regular paragraph, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Notice what I'm doing is these are actually considered when they're in right next to each other like this whole thing, if I change this to a heading level 3, the whole paragraph would change, and that's not what I want. So that's why I'm doing this backspace and then hitting the enter. It's making that a whole separate paragraph. So when I click in this line, and notice I don't even have to highlight the whole line, I can just click within it and come up to our down arrow and select heading level 3, and it knows to do the whole line. So that's why I had to separate those. And then I think there's just 1 or 2 more. The potential. Again, I'm going to separate that, make it a completely separate area, and heading level 3. And now is also, but it's already separated, so we'll do that heading level 3. There's actually more to this article. I like to get rid of the blank lines at the end, so I'm going to just click at the end there and hit backspace. Not sure what that is. I think I just sort of partially copied something else. So this is my blog post. It has some of the same tools. If I happen to type something with a misspelling, it's going to give me that squiggly red underline just like Word does to show me that I have a spelling issue. If I right click on the word, that's on the PC, and it's control click with the Mac mouse. If you just have the one button click, it's control click for Mac or right click PC, and you get this menu, and it gives you some options that you're trying to guess what you might have meant. So if you want to just go ahead and do that. Now it's got some other things. Notice it's counting Meerkat and some other items as misspellings, but they really aren't. You just want to ignore those. Gaffigan, Scoper. Scoper is actually a new term because of Periscope, so just going to ignore that for now. So there's my article. I don't want to publish it yet. I kind of want to hang on. I'm a little nervous to publish it, so I'm going to say save draft. And you always wait for it to do that kind of whole thing it just did where the screen refreshed. That's when you know that it has been saved. And now I can say preview. Actually, I probably could have previewed before I save draft, but I like to make sure it's saved. And here's my article. On its own, because of the way the theme is set up, it's already put today's date and that there are no comments because I am just posting it now. Here's my title of my article. Here's the first level headline. They're pretty much the same size, it looks like. The only difference is that the name of the article is in all caps. This is all going to depend on your theme and how your theme is set up. These are this is the second level, and then these are the third level headings. And you can see how the paragraphs break. So that's a blog post. That thing is ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead. Notice I'm in a separate tab. I wanted to point that out, that when you do a preview, it goes ahead and opens a separate tab for you to look at. This is not a real page. It's just a preview. So I'm going to go back into the tab where I am in my WordPress admin, and I'm going to go ahead and click publish. Now I want to tell you, if you publish and all of a sudden you look at it, and I've done this, and you go, oh my gosh, I totally didn't mean to say that, or I put the wrong word in, or there's a bunch of typos or whatever. The beauty of anything on the internet, especially web pages, is that you can go in and edit them quickly before anybody sees your mistake. If it's in print stuff, you know, you could have spent $1,000 for a newsletter and the typos are there permanently. But I'm going to go ahead and publish because I feel brave. Now it is actually live. This preview, I can't refresh this because it's not a real page. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and I want to show you a little trick. When I work on websites in WordPress, I always keep one window or one tab open to the admin area, and I open another tab to just show me the actual website itself. A quick and easy way to do that is to move your mouse over where the name of your document is, or the name of, it's the name of your website. Mine is called WordPress Demonstrations by Kathy Servatka. Notice when I mouse over it, I get a little drop down that says visit the site. Now here's the thing, if I just click on visit the site, it's going to overwrite my admin area, and now I'm going to be in the site, and now I can't really go back. I mean, I can, but it's a pain to flip back and forth that way. So what I'm going to do is hit the back arrow and show you a little tricky trick. Mousing over my website name and down over the words visit site. On the PC, you want to right click. We like the right click button because it gets us good menus. And I see where it says open link in new tab. That's what I want. Then I just left clicked on that item. Now I've got the website and I've got my admin area. This is the live site. You'll still see the dashboard basic toolbar at the top in your web view. That's because I'm logged in. But you see this is the actual live website. So if I go to blog, I see part of, because this is the main blog page, it's just going to show the title of the article, the date, and a blurb with the little dots saying there's more. And here's the little button that says read more, so I can click on read more. And here's my whole article. Notice now in my recent posts, I actually have an article named Up Down Periscope. It's now put it in the archives. And this is something we need to talk about as well, categories. That might seem like a mystery to you. And what does this mean, uncategorized? So we're going to go in and fix that. But that's it. Your article is now published and live. So, you know, it's kind of fun to navigate through and go back and go, here's my blog. I just like to do that after I've published something and it's out there, especially if you spend some time writing. It's just kind of fun to see it out there live. So I'm going to go back to my admin area. And there's a couple other items under posts that I want to point out to you. Now we looked at all posts, and before we had that sample post and then I deleted it. Now here's the one we just created. And as you create more posts, they're going to also show up in this list, and it's going to get longer and longer. So here's my first article. And here's the categories uncategorized, and we're going to talk about that. And the date it was published 3 minutes ago, fresh off the presses, so to speak. All right, here's two other items we want to pay attention to. And the first one is categories. The category is like, well, I mean, it's the category of your article. If you're going to write a lot of blogs, you want to have little categories to kind of file them in. So you don't want to have, you really would like to have just one category per article, and then use that category over and over for different articles that might fit in that category. And you may end up with several categories, but a bunch of articles under each one where it fits, where it makes sense. For instance, since I just wrote this about, that article was about Periscope, which is actually new social media, I think I would title my category social media. That's general enough that I could put this article, I can do articles about Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff, all come under the same category. And it's going to make sense to people if they go to my website and they try to find something under a certain category. It's going to make sense that all social media articles are going to be under the category social media. The slug, all it means is, what is the web address going to look like? So in my case, it's going to be my website name here, and you wouldn't see the rest of this. It's going to be .com/ and then what? Since we're calling the category social media, the slug is going to be the same words with a dash between them. That doesn't sound like it's anything too important, but it really is, and it helps with your search engine optimization. So whatever you put here, it doesn't necessarily have to match the name, but it should. And if you have more than one word, never leave a blank space. Use a dash or an underscore, but dash is what everybody uses. And don't worry about anything else, and just say add new category. Now look, I've got two categories here. Uncategorized just means, yeah, I've written an article and I didn't assign it to a category, so it's just by default going to come under this name. So, but my article is going to come under social media, but I have to set it to do that. So let me go back to my posts, and it still says uncategorized until I change it. So notice I can click on edit, or I can just click on the title of the article to get into edit it as well. So we're back in the article, and now in our categories on the far right, we have uncategorized with the checkbox, and now we have social media as well. I don't want it to be under uncategorized, but I do want it to be under social media. Notice here as well, if I wrote an article and a new category just popped into my head that isn't listed here, and I don't feel like going all the way over to categories and switching around, look at that. I can click on add new category, type it in here, and then add it, and just add it on the fly like that. So that's a pretty cool thing, but we don't really need to worry about that. We've got social media, and once you do anything you do for this article or any of your articles, you want to make sure you click that blue update button. Now let's go into our live, and I'm going to refresh it, just clicking the browser refresh button. And now look at the category, social media. And I don't even see uncategorized because I don't have anything under uncategorized. So why show it? If somebody is looking through these categories and they click on social media, all the articles that I would have created will be listed because I clicked social media. So I only have one article there now, so that's all we're seeing. So that's pretty super cool. I'll bring that back up, and then I'm going to go back into my admin area. And we have one other button under posts called tags. Now tags you want to think more of as like keywords. And what you'd like to do is pull some tags, again, trying to be not too specific, but not too general either. And you can have a few tags. I wouldn't put too many in there, but maybe 3 to 5, no more than 5. So keywords from the article itself. Obviously, Periscope has got to be one of those words. Social media, even though I made it a category, can also be a tag. It can be more than one word, and it can be the same wording as in a category. So I think I'll do Periscope, Meerkat, social media, and blab. Okay, so from here, let me just put one of them in. I'm going to go ahead and capitalized or not capitalized, it doesn't matter. Periscope, and then my slug, I would just go ahead and make it the same thing and say add new tag. Now when I add the tags here, they get added to the options of tags, but they don't, as we saw with the category, they don't automatically get added to the article. A faster way to do this is to go back to your posts, open the post, and look at, we have the same thing here as we have for categories. First of all, I did just create one so I could say choose from the most used tabs, which I don't really have any. Well, it's not even going to show it to me. We know that Periscope exists. Once you start making articles, they're going to start showing up in the list here, and then you can just pick from them or add new ones. So I can type them one at a time, or I could just do comma, space, Periscope. Let's do Meerkat, Blab, and social media, and click add. Now look, the comma was what separated each term. So even though social media is 2 words, it knew to separate it because of the comma. Not only have I created those tags, but at the same time, they are now attached to this document. So this is really the faster way. You can see these things up here and you know what they are now, and that's fine. And as far as categories goes, it's probably not a bad idea to think about it ahead of time, the categories that you'll probably be touching on quite a bit, and create them over here. But you can always create them on the fly. And the same thing with tags. You can just type them in. You can just type one in and click add, or you can type more than one in and with the comma. Now, when it shows these listed here like this, I know that these are actually connected to this document. And there's a little X there. If you mouse over the little X, if you decide one of them doesn't make sense to have, you can just click on the X and it'll remove it. But I do want to have that. Oh, I can't remember how it's spelled. Meerkat. Add. Now, I didn't recreate the word. The word was already created. The tag was already created, but I just added it back into this document. And I'm going to say update. And go back into my live version and hit the refresh button on the browser. Oh, we don't have a tags listing over here, so we're not going to see. Sometimes, and some themes, the tags will actually show right up here under the date. So this theme does not do that. Maybe at the end. Here, put it at the end. Here's the category. And I don't know why there's a comment in front of that. Probably the way I did something. But these are the tags or keywords. So it put them down at the bottom there. Now, normally what you get is a category list. So you can click on those. A viewer could click on them and say, I'm interested in whatever this person wrote about social media or whatever category, and you'll get the listing. Same thing with the tags. If they see the word Periscope, and these are clickable down here, but usually you'll see them in the column as well. If I click on Periscope and I want to see how many articles have the word Periscope in it, that would list all the articles that just say Periscope. So it's just a nice way to organize it for your viewers so that they have a nice viewing experience and they can find articles that are important to them really quickly. All right, so I think that pretty much covers it for now. Let me know, please, if you, in the comments, if this was helpful to you or any suggestions you may have, any other videos you want to see. I know the things that I want to teach you about your website, things that I think will be helpful to you, but I need you to feed back to me and let me know if this is helpful. If sometimes I slip into jargon and I forget. And so if I start talking in ways that doesn't make sense, or maybe, it's just after midnight and I'm tired, let me know about that as well. I'd love to hear from you. The purpose of this blog and of this video, but actually this video and my blog, is to help you. And if I'm not helping you, then there's no point to what I'm doing. So I just want to make that clear. And I want to thank you guys for listening and watching. And there's going to be plenty more of these. And I will talk to you soon.